What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on a 2002 Toyota Tacoma, which is in desperate need of a detail, as you guys can see here. Tons of swirls and scratches on all the paintwork, as well as some pretty dirty wheel wells and a really dirty underbody. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to clean the underbody of a truck, some I never showed on the channel yet. Also, as well as the engine bay and a full interior detail. So here's some of the before shots, and without further ado, let's get right into it. So here I'm going to be using my chemical sprayer filled up with a full concentrate degreaser that is not diluted, that is straight product. That's the way I do all my frames and underbodies on any pickup truck or any car that I do. Just saves a lot of time and hassle, and for me it works a lot better. You can dilute it if you're going to agitate it heavily. I did agitate some spots, but really wasn't necessary with this degreaser. It is pretty strong. So here I'm just going to soak it all down and let it dwell for a little bit. Now the key to doing this is be very generous with your product and use as much as needed. Also, you don't want to let the product dry because then your dirt and grease will cake back on. Especially, it was hot this day. It was about 90 degrees out, so I had to make sure and work fast. And here I'm just going to blast it all away with my pressure washer and be as thorough as possible, almost working like a sniper with this pressure washer and get in every tight nook and cranny. Also, another thing I want to say was I didn't get to record every single bit of me doing the underbody on this truck. Just because my camera was getting kind of soaked, as you guys can see in the last clip. Now here I'm going to be using my acid-based wheel cleaner to brighten up some of the aluminum on the underbody and get any visible rust off the frame and rinse away with the pressure washer. Now moving on to these nasty wheel wells and tires, I'm going to be using my full string degreaser as well and just get it blasted away with the pressure washer and make it look nice and clean. So as you can see here, I'm using the blast of the pressure washer to not only rinse the wheel, but kind of chip some of the loose paint off the center caps. And here I'm going to be repainting them down the line, so this kind of just saved me time on sanding and refinishing. But as you can see, I got a fair bit of paint off with just a pressure washer alone. So here I'm going to be using my full strength degreaser along with my chemical sprayer, and I'm going to be doing the same process, which is soak it in some degreaser at full strength, be very generous, and then power wash it away, rinse and repeat. I'm going to do that about 2 or 3 times, or as many times as needed. Then I'm going to come back through with my acid-based wheel cleaner, soak the whole engine bay down, be very generous with that, and then get it all power washed away and brighten all the aluminum. Now, something I want to answer for you guys is I always get a lot of comments saying, why don't I soak my engine bay or whatever I'm cleaning first with water and then use my degreaser? And the simple answer to that is, once you're wetting some down, you're actually diluting your product. So I want to use my product at full strength. So I'm going to go ahead and use it to as strong as possible to cut through any heavy grease. Now, this isn't always the case. It isn't always necessary, but on these older vehicles that have never been cleaned under the hood or on the underbody, full strength degreaser to me works really good. You can get the same results with somewhat diluted degreaser, but it takes a lot longer and it's a lot harder. So I'd rather be generous with my product and get a nice result. So now moving on to the paint work. Now here I am going to be using a diluted degreaser. This truck was really grimy and hasn't been washed in quite some time. You can't really see because of the color, but there's some moss and kind of algae buildup here and there on the paint. Some we get here in Washington pretty often, especially if you don't wash your vehicle through the winter. So here I'm just using a degreaser diluted 5:1 on all the paint work. Then I'm just going to get it blasted away with the pressure washer to loosen up any dirt and grime. So after letting the truck drip dry and pulling it in the shop and drying it off, I'm going to be using my detailer's clay along with some detail spray. Get any surface bonded contaminants and deep embedded road grime off this paint and ready for a 2-stage paint polish. So to remove the seat, I'm going to be using my RYOBI power ratchet that they were kind enough to send me. This is a really awesome tool, and if you guys want to check it out, there'll be a link to it down in the description below. But I really like this because it has enough power to remove seat bolts, and it is very versatile with the way it rotates. So if you guys want to check one out, like I said, link down in the description below for you. So moving on to clean the panels, and for all the interior I'm going to be using a all-purpose cleaner diluted 5:1, as well as a stiff bristle brush, a soft bristle brush, and my McCulloch steamer. Now one thing I want to note is always be careful when you guys are using a steamer. If you have one, any brand, doesn't matter, never stay in one spot for too long because you can fade stuff. I have done it before. A lot of people wouldn't admit that, but I have definitely damaged a lot of plastic when I first got this tool. So you got to be very careful on not staying in one place too long. So on these specific Tacomas, you could kind of be a little bit more aggressive with the headliners. Since they're a one-piece headliner and they don't tend to sag since they're not glued together like some of the other cars in these years. But here I'm going to be using my all-purpose cleaner along with a horsehair brush and just agitate it and get it wiped away with some microfiber towels. As for the carpet, I'm going to be using my Chemical Guys carpet solution diluted 10:1 along with a yellow drill brush. Here I'm just going to agitate it and then get it all extracted. So as for this Tacoma seat, I don't know if you guys ever had the pleasure of working on one of these, but they are very tricky to get 100% clean just because the type of material that they use likes to hang on to grease and grime. So here I'm going to be using my drill brush with my carpet solution and some really hot water in my extractor and just giving it multiple passes until I get the water crystal clear. However, even though I went over the seat like 4 times, the next day I still had to do it one more extra time to make sure it was 100% spotless. And as you guys will see here, You'll see some of the spots I hit multiple times, and there was even some times where I didn't even record because it was just taking way too long. But I spent a total of about 30 minutes on this one chair. So as you guys can see here, just my carpet solution alone in one pass was not going to do it. So here I broke out my degreaser, and it seemed like there was a lot of grease on the bottom of the seat. So this got it out no problem. I don't really recommend using degreasers on fabric just because there's so much suds and so hard to get out. Just to get this water crystal clear, it took me quite some time, many passes to get all the degreaser out. So, but as you guys can see, it made a really big difference. So here I'm just replacing the door handle really quick since the old one was broken. And there was already another one in the truck. I thought it would be the right thing to do. So it only took about 15 minutes or so. As for my top coat of choice, I'm going to be using some 303 aerospace protectant along with a microfiber applicator pad, and I'm just going to apply it all over the whole interior and then get it wiped away with a couple of microfiber towels. So as you guys can see here, I'm using a new polisher today, just trying it out, and this is a RYOBI's new DA cordless polisher, and it is an amazing little tool, very good for the weekend warrior or just a mobile detailer. You know, no cords, no mess. And I also have this RYOBI cordless light that is really bright, and I'll kind of show you guys. It does help finding swirls and kind of showing those imperfections while you're getting on the last steps. But as you can see here, I'm using some Sonex one-step polish and a maroon cutting pad that also comes with the DA. Now, if you guys want to check out these products, like I said, there will be links to all of them in my description down below. So since the paint was pretty soft on this Toyota, I got about 90% of the defects out with just using a DA, one-step polish by Sonex, and a microfiber cutting pad. So to keep those results looking nice for the next 4 to 6 months, I'm going to be using my black polishing pad along with the cordless DA and a paint sealant just to keep it looking nice and fresh. Then for these faded out fender flares and trim, I'm going to be using some Chemical Guys back on black. So in case you're wondering why I chose the aerosol dressing, since it's really messy and you can see it oversprays all over the paint, it is because these aerosol dressings tend to make black trim pop a lot more than a hand applied dressing. Now here I always try to go the easier route and use a hand applied dressing like 303, or I have another dressing that I can't quite name off the top of my head. And they're both pretty good dressings, but they didn't seem to give it the pop I wanted, and it almost came out a little streaky. So here I chose to use the aerosol. And so what if I have to wipe all the paint with a couple microfiber towels? Only takes another 5 or 10 minutes, and the result, as you guys can see, it totally rejuvenated that trim. So I thought it made it look really nice, and I'm going to be going over it again with some spray wax and a couple of microfiber towels to make sure there's no smudges anyway. So I'm actually using a different spray bottle because my other one went out, but here I'm using some Meguiar's Hyper Dressing as well as a microfiber applicator pad to apply it. And I forgot to record me refinishing the center caps, and also forgot to record me cleaning the glass. So I hope you guys are not too upset about that, but as you can see, the center caps came out really well. And as I mentioned, just to get that last little 5% of detail, I want to go ahead and go over all the paint work with a couple of microfiber towels and some spray wax or any type of detail spray. This really isn't for protection or anything, which it does add a little bit. This is more just to make the paint give the paint that extra pop, and just make sure there's no smudges or any kind of dust and debris from moving around the shop. So just about to approach the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and this is my first video hitting 50,000 subscribers. I just want to thank you guys so much. We're already at 50k and I'm on the road to 100, so not going to celebrate too heavy yet, but I do appreciate you guys and all your support. Without you guys, this channel wouldn't even be possible. So without all the cliche stuff out the window, I really do appreciate you guys' support. So if you guys are not subscribed already, let's get to that 100,000. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure and turn your notification bell on so you don't miss out on any future videos. And leave the video a thumbs up, because that really does help with sending these videos out to more people. More people making less mistakes and getting better results. So I'll see you guys in the next one.